fly.com.
It's an airline called Fly Scoot.
No, it's called Scoot.
Scoot.
But it's a
okay.
Singaporean airline.
Oh, a Singaporean airline.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the website is flyscoot.com. I don't know why that made me chuckle. That tickled me a bit.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Goblins live show. I don't know if the wifey knew that we were going live, but we were discussing the meaning of
scoot.
To scoot, and why scooters are called scooters, because that means then that they'd be shufflers, right?
I don't know. Because to scoot means to go quickly. So they're more like gliders.
Well, no, gliding is when you like fall out the sky with style.
But
falling with style.
Yeah.
It's not flying, it's falling with style.
So yeah, I don't know. And then we found an airline called Fly Scoot, and that was you're all caught up.
Anyway, how are we doing? Oh, I've kind of skipped the whole intro a bit, haven't I?
I'm sure we've missed something.
The thing is, I can't look at this. Hang on, because it's saying that we've got no data. Apparently, we're transmitting no data. So let's see what's going on here. You can see us, can't you, on your stream? Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
There we go. All right. Okay. We seem to be back on again. All right. Anyway, so in today's show, we've got lined up for you a very, very frustrating topic because, it's got to start somewhere, this kind of thing. And, I think I'm worried about the implications, the wider implications, not just for London, but also for the rest of the UK. So basically, we're going to be talking about the recent parking charges now for motorcyclists in and around certain areas of London, and how stupid it is. Are you ready, wifey?
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and roll the intro. That's weird. I didn't see anything on it. Now I'll ask you how we're doing, wifey.
Fine, I think, aren't we? We're getting there.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's nice to have 2 long bank holiday weekends in a row, isn't it?
I need it. I'm still recovering.
Only getting... this is it. It's the only time it's ever going to happen. Is this year, and that's it.
Like this, yeah.
This year is going to be the only year it's going to happen. So yeah, let's make the most of it. This bank holiday weekend coming up. But have we been up to anything interesting this week?
No, because I couldn't go anywhere, could I, all week?
That's true. Yeah, because of your leg. How's that doing, by the way?
I'm so bruised. It's hilarious.
Oh, I wish I had a picture ready to show everyone what it looked like. But she's got a bruise basically that goes.
I could show everyone,
no,
but
that's fine. Go from the top of a car all the way down to kind of like where it meets with the ankle, and then. Is it on the inside or the outside of your ankle? On the outside of inside of the wifey's ankle, she's also got a bruise there as well, and that's from.
But it's like this long.
From training, because she didn't warm up properly.
Yes.
A silly girl. But anyway, yeah, you're still hobbling around, aren't you?
Yes, but I'm much quicker than I was before.
Yeah. No, you're healing nicely. I think you're getting there.
Yeah, surprisingly so. But yeah, the bruise is, how do I put it to my brother? Spreading like Ewoks on the moon of Endor. To stay with the Star Wars theme for today.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, it's May the 4th.
Yeah.
May the 4th be with you.
I did give him a Lord of the Rings theme, and he was like, you can't use those themes on Star Wars Day.
I'm pretty sure I've asked you this before. But is it Revenge of the 5th or Revenge of the 6th?
See, I thought it was Revenge of the 6th, because 6th is like Sith.
But 5th sounds more like Sith because it doesn't have the X in it.
We can just have both.
I don't know.
I'm not sure. So.
Yeah, weird one.
Yeah.
But we're in May already. Jesus.
Don't.
In May already.
Can't believe it.
Absolutely mad. But yeah, no, I don't think there's anything else going on really, is there?
You haven't really been able to leave me, so you haven't been able to go anywhere.
No, I haven't.
So
I haven't really done much this week, apart from just go through the motions, staying in routine. But yeah, bit of a boring week this week, I think.
No, let's rephrase that. An uneventful week.
Okay, uneventful week.
Sometimes uneventful is all we can hope for.
All right. That makes sense. Yeah, Northwest Bikers, Revenge of the 5th. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
I think
could be
either
right.
sounds right.
Could be right. I don't know.
So.
All right. Anyway, shall we crack on with the main topic of today's show, where London motorcyclists are being hit with parking charges. Now, this is something that I actually said about this a few weeks ago. I think I think it was a live show, where pretty much motorcycle parking across the whole of the UK is free. You have to pay for parking. Now that's different. I think it was from February this year, Hackney. Is it Hackney? Is that the council? The Hackney area in London has now started charging, at least in certain areas of London, certain areas of Hackney anyway, have started charging for motorcycle parking, whereas it wasn't before. It was, again, just like everywhere else in the UK, it was absolutely free. And there's been quite an uproar because it all kind of happened underneath everyone's noses. It kind of happened without anyone knowing.
Sorry, it's making me smile, but I shouldn't laugh. If you look on the thing, you see the reflection of my Windows logo on the table. It's just made me smile. I don't know why.
You've only just noticed that.
I've never
That's
noticed
always
that.
there.
Is it really? I don't look at it that much.
Yeah, that's always there.
That's quite funny. Sorry.
Anyway, so I think we'll start off the show by just kind of caveating this, that we don't live in London and we don't actually know the whole situation in London and whether or not it's fair or not. But judging from the reaction from motorcyclists in recent months, it's been quite an issue. And it looks like as if, actually, now that I'm looking at this article, look, it says here it's published in March of 2021. How interesting.
Updated this year.
And it was updated on the 4th of April. So literally today it was updated. This was on MCN. So this might have been an issue long before we even knew about it, but it's coming round again on the news. But it's just the fact that because it was like a little blurb in there about a scooter rider who rode into work like he does every single day for 15 years or something ridiculous like that, and then gets stuck with a parking charge because all of a sudden they decided to start charging in that particular area. Now, let's and this isn't just affecting Hackney either. Apparently, this is moving over as well into Islington. I'm not sure about that at the moment because I don't think these articles go into too much detail about how it's going to be implemented in Islington. But it's mainly this article is talking about how it's affecting riders in Hackney and, well, I mean, what are the wider implications across the city and across the UK as a result of this? And the thing is, for me, is that, again, when you talk about the population size of motorcyclists in the UK, I mean, how many people do you think ride a motorcycle or scooter in the UK, wifey? How many people do you think?
Percentage-wise?
Yeah, percentage-wise.
Like 8%?
Less than that, probably.
Yeah.
Even less than that. And then you look at the population size that's going to be riding a motorcycle in and around Hackney.
Oh, that's like 1%.
It's going to be tiny. Even if it is 5% of 5%, it's still a small number of people that are going to be affected severely by this. And the thing is, like they were saying in this article as well, that it could cost someone up to £14,000 a year now to park a motorcycle in certain areas of Hackney. I think that's gone down now. I think as a result of some protests, which are still going on, by the way, from motorcycle groups in the area. I think it's gone down now, but it's just the fact that they are scraping the barrel of these councils just trying to get squeeze as much money as possible from people, just drawing blood from a stone. And how much money do you think they're going to make, really, considering what their budgets will probably be annually? How much money do you think how much of an impact do you think it's going to have anyway on their finances? It probably won't. Especially with the small number of people that would be in and around Hackney riding a motorcycle or a scooter. So I don't know. It kind of took me by surprise when I saw this. But go on, Wifey.
The plot thickens slightly. So
Right.
I'm just going down this article. In 2012, a petition was launched in, I want to say Sheffield, against abolishing free motorcycle parking. So it's been going on for...
It's just these things they always start in London. These things always start in London, and then they end up just migrating outwards ever quickly. What was I gonna?
Sorry.
No. It's all right. It's just I'll show you guys the article whilst we're here. Why not?
So
right, this is on MCN.
The article. So I'm on the same article. At the very, very, very bottom, it says about in 2012, Westminster Council. I think they're saying so. They introduced its charge for using traditionally free motorcycle bays in 2008. It's £1 a day to park your motorbike.
Whereabouts?
That it says Westminster Council.
Okay. So that's Westminster. So that is right in the middle of London. I'll show you guys the map actually because we got this out earlier. Where Hackney is because I'm not a Londoner. I got no idea about Hackney, but here's Hackney. Islington is there, and right here is Westminster. Okay, so this is kind of like the area now that it is affecting, and it's more than likely going to affect more areas than this. But anyway, so apparently these charges only affect specific zones within Hackney, and this is... God bloody hell, trying to get your mind around this is just an absolute nightmare. I was actually asking the wifey before the show, like, if we decided to visit London and we wanted to park in Islington or in Hackney and we wanted to plan where it was we wanted to park, how would we know what zone we were in before we got there? I mean, we actually managed to find kind of like a map of all the zones and things like that, but I mean, if I can find it here as well, I'll show you guys. Here we go. So this is an area of the zones in Hackney. Now, bearing in mind that there are a lot of zones here, oh my goodness, honestly. And look, they're all different times as well that they've got here for parking restrictions and what have you. But Zone B, which is apparently the zone that's being affected by this, is here. These areas are both Zone B. And this is basically as close to Westminster as you can get within Hackney. Yeah. So it's not like it's affecting the whole area, but the issue is that because they did this in quite an underhand way, and people are only really starting to protest and petition that it get changed now. That what's to stop them from just rolling this out across other zones within Hackney or within Islington or within any of the other London boroughs? What's to stop them? There basically isn't. And their reasoning is absolutely ridiculous. All right, so we've got two. So this is on MCN, and this is regarding Islington as well. So it says here an Islington spokesperson. That's a hard word to say. Said, as part of our approach to climate change and to achieve our net zero carbon emissions by 2030, we have simplified on the on-street parking charge system to encourage a reduction in non-essential motor vehicle use. While the majority of motorcycles have a lower environmental impact than other petrol or diesel cars, they still emit harmful pollutants, including carbon emissions and nitrogen dioxide, into the air. They added, motorcycles also contribute to congestion, making roads less safe for people who are walking, cycling, or taking other modes of active transport. Wow. They're bundling motorcyclists in with everyone. Right. This is an issue here because we have no representation. Okay, motorcyclists don't have, or the motorcycle community don't have any representation when it comes to these kinds of issues. So the most that they can do is submit petitions, which they've already done. I mean, if we can find it, I thought I found it somewhere, a link to be a part of this petition to stop these plans from going ahead or to reverse them, but I don't know. But the fact that they said that motorcycles have an impact on congestion? No, they don't. One of the biggest solutions to congestion in the UK is to ride motorcycles and scooters. It just, are you trying to tell me that 10 motorcycles produce the same amount of congestion as one London bus? I really struggle to believe that even 10 motorcycles would create the same amount of congestion as one London bus. And we all hate buses anyway, don't we? You know, no one likes buses. No one likes public transport in general. And I mean, I'll tell you what, any of you that have been to London and tried going on the underground as well, using the underground, oh my goodness, it is awful. It is horrendous. Have you used the underground, wifey? Mm-hmm. You have. What do you think of it?
I don't like it.
But what was your experience though? When you used the London Underground, what was your experience?
Just busy and warm and crowded and just, I don't know. I think it's because I'm not overly confident anyway, but trying to figure out where I need to go and what line and which direction it's going in, it's just not for me.
Right, so my interpretation of it, and bearing in mind this was probably about 10 years ago since I last visited London, and it was to visit my cousin. He was at university at the time in London. The first thing I thought was the London Underground system is not fit for purpose. With the amount of people that it's trying to cater for, it isn't good enough. Nowhere near good enough. The amount of people that are packed in like sardines into these like stupid trains is just outrageous. And can you imagine how much spread of COVID happened as a result of people using the London Underground? It would have been absolutely ridiculous. And it would have been a hotspot for the pandemic, for sure. In those areas of London that were hubs for underground travel. And oh my goodness. Honestly, it's... Right, if you've experienced something like that, it actually makes you think twice about using it again. And the funny thing is as well, I don't know how much it costs to go on the underground. I've got no idea. All right. I refuse to even like contemplate the idea of moving to London. But anyway, I don't know how much it costs, but I can pretty much guarantee you that, well, at least prior to having to pay for parking a motorcycle in London, that it might have even been cheaper to run a scooter or a 125cc motorcycle daily to get to work than using the underground. Maybe. It wouldn't surprise me if that was the case. When you account for tax and insurance and everything, the cost of the bike, it wouldn't surprise me if it would have been cheaper just to do it that way.
So Hackney Council's argument is that they want people to use public transport more.
Yes. So because hang on, because I was going to actually bring that up because that was on Visor Down.
But can I just...
Yes, yeah.
Down in the article further down, from 2020, there's a guy here who runs a motorcycle shop.
Yeah.
And he says, Hackney has a long history of motorcycling. Part of that is because Hackney is so poorly connected by public transport.
There you go! You morons! Honestly.
But he then goes off to say...
What are these councillors doing?
He's worried it'll put people off shopping locally. Why ride your bike around when you could go to Tesco's out of town and park for free?
Yes!
What do we do when we're going to go into the town centre? We park in a supermarket locally... check the time we set in.
Well, that's if we drive in a car. If I'm riding my bike somewhere, I park in the middle of town because there's designated parking or somewhere I know I can park and it's absolutely free. I don't have to worry about it, especially in Cheltenham because Cheltenham's a bloody nightmare these days.
Yeah.
Trying to find somewhere to park for free because you can't.
Either
not
that,
if you're driving anyway.
or one of us drops the other one in.
Yeah, all that. Yeah, and what a waste of time is that as well? Because you're having to, instead of doing just 2 travels, so if you're driving yourself, for example, there and back, now it's 4 travels because they're to drop you off, me to go home, there to pick you up again, and then take both of us home. Honestly, it is ridiculous. But yeah, no, it's on Visor Down as well because it's these. This is kind of making the rounds across quite a lot of the different motorcycle news places.
Do you want to share that?
Yeah, sure. Because I mean, on here, let's. Yeah. Here we go. When Visor Down asked Hackney Council about its motorcycle parking charge proposals, it said it hoped that the charges on all-powered two-wheelers, whatever, would encourage people to cycle or use public transport. The latest development is that a scrutiny panel set up by Green and Conservative Party councillors on Hackney Council failed to achieve any change in the council's plans. Now, this is quite interesting because I think it was this article here that was saying about this group here, Save London Motorcycling. This group here, apparently they were the people that approached the Conservative Party and the Green Party about challenging this and looking at more evidence to suggest that this actually is going to help or make things worse. And it was the Labour Party, who I don't know if they're the ones that are actually currently have a seat at that council. They refused. They refused to acknowledge the fact that something better could have been done. This could have been reversed. They absolutely just refused to change it.
There was a 77.3% disagreement with the plans.
Yep.
I mean, that's majority.
Yep. And that's the absolute stupidity of local councils. They can do whatever the hell they like, and there's nothing that we can do anything. We can't do anything about it unless we have more representation within these circles.
Any meetings and talks are just
honestly
a show, aren't they?
Honestly,
they're not.
It's absolutely
formality.
Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And even the fact that the Green Party, for God's sake, was prepared to go over other piece of evidence and what have you that would have been proposed or would have been given to them about the validity of the changes or what have you, whatever. They were open to discussing whether or not anything better could have been done.
In 2020,
Absolutely
Camden
ridiculous.
Council said that they're proposing to get rid of their dedicated motorcycle parking bays, replaced with multi-use bays that will cost £6 a day to park a bike.
Yep.
And that over a year will be £1,560.
Yep. It's this article here on Vicedown. This is the one that actually mentioned about so £14,000 per year per bike, but it now should be around 2,300 years per year, £2,300 per year per bike, including electric motorcycles.
But in Camden, again, this is a correct of 2020. Don't come at me. It says that the £6 per day option will only be available for the first 2 years. After that, it becomes £5.91 an hour.
Jesus Christ! Honestly, it's.
To justify their price hike, they've claimed it's an attempt to discourage inessential motorcycle journeys.
What? Right, okay. The stupidity of that argument is that if a motorcyclist decides to go out and ride their motorcycle because they want to go out for a ride, they're not going to go into the middle of bloody town, are they? They're going to ride around the countryside. They're going to ride around places they want to be. They're not going to park up in town.
I need you to cool it for a sec while I read this bit and try and keep your composure. I will back away once I finish reading this.
Okay, all right. I'm making no promises.
Let me read this before you explode. The council further claims that motorcyclists are more likely to be involved in collisions resulting in a fatality or serious injury to both pedestrians and cyclists, and that peak sound levels for motorcyclists can significantly exceed those for motor vehicles, creating noise and disturbance for residents. MCN has asked the evidence Camden Council has used to make these statements, but at the time of writing, yet to be presented.
They had nothing. They had absolutely nothing. It's just a councillor that's got some kind of bloody vendetta against motorcyclists, honestly. Because these people, they don't know. They have no idea about motorcycles. They've got no idea about the environmental impact. They've got no idea about the congestion impact that motorcycles have. They've got no idea about any of this stuff. They're just using it as an excuse to make money.
It's really interesting because, again, when's this from? Let me just double check before I get people going,
Christ, man, this stuff honestly winds me up.
In March 2021, I think it's Camden released, or someone's basically found a table proposing charges for motorcycle parking. From the way it reads, it's broken down into different categories for the type of permit, then if it's a petrol charge or electric charge. There is one flat rate for motorcycles regardless if it's petrol or electric.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So
even
if you've got an electric bike, it doesn't matter. You're not going to be paying any less. You're still going to be paying. And you're paying, and these are daily. They're daily only. I mean, you're paying less than a resident visitor permit, but yeah.
Honestly, man. Honestly, this is just outrageous. Absolutely outrageous. And the thing is as well, like these local councils, they want everyone to go bloody electric and everything like that. How many motorcycles can you fit inside an electric parking bay and charge all bikes? You can fit at least 4 bikes in one regular sized parking bay for one electric car. If that isn't more efficient, then I have no idea what is.
But
honestly, it's just agendas. It's just politics. It's got nothing to do with the efficacy of travel. It's got nothing to do with efficiency. It's got nothing to do with regular people and how it affects them. It's got nothing to do with them. It's all about these people with their personal bloody agendas.
What's so frustrating is that if you went and parked your car, you'd use one bay, right? And you'd be charged once.
Yeah.
If we went out together, we'd use one bay for both bikes. And we'd both be charged £6
we
each.
have to charge. They would charge us for both.
As opposed to per bay.
Yep.
I don't even know how they'd figure it out per bay anyway. But
honestly,
you're still at a disadvantage because we'd have to pay £12 if we go by that figure as opposed to £7.
The thing is, it really just goes to show that politicians haven't got a clue about anything. These people are literally elected because of the way they look, not because of policies or because of anything. It's just the way they look. They have no idea about any of this stuff. So what gives them the right to start making decisions like this?
No idea.
Is the Hackney councillor a motorcyclist? Has he even, or she, have they even ridden a scooter before? Around London or around Islington or around wherever?
So
No, probably not, have they? So what gives them the right?
So you were saying about this guy who got a fine or whatever.
Oh yeah, his name was Paolo, wasn't it?
Yeah, so he was saying that he's commuted into Islington on his scooter for 15 years.
Yep.
He went back to work on the 1st of March after a time off, and he had a parking ticket. So it makes me wonder how long he was away for, because it says the cost came into effect on February the 1st. So either he was really fortunate and he just hadn't had a ticket before, but does that mean there's no signs anywhere to say you have to park, you have to pay now?
Maybe not. I don't know.
So you're on the back foot already?
Not
You've got
clue.
no hope,
I mean,
have you?
It was the same bloody thing with me when I went to Cheltenham one year. This was when I was 17. And I was on my 125 and I parked up by some bicycle racks because I wanted to lock up the bike and stuff like that. And I got a ticket for it, apparently being over double yellow lines or something like that, even though the bicycle rack was well away from the road. And also as well, there were other bikes that were doing the same thing. I don't know, maybe they weren't there for as long or something like that. But their excuse was there is designated motorcycle parking in and around Cheltenham. But the biggest issue is, especially because I don't work in Cheltenham anymore, but when I used to, I'd have to get there. I'd have to be careful about what time I got there because in some cases the parking could be totally filled up. There's 2 that I'm aware of in Cheltenham, 2 motorcycle parking areas. And in each area, there's only about 10, 15 bays, if that. Mm. And more often than not, a lot of them were relatively filled up. But luckily, I was able to, if one of them was full, I could go a little bit further away and park in the other one. So it wasn't such a big deal. But it again, though, it's just where you can basically park a motorcycle anywhere pretty responsibly, out of the way, it's not inconveniencing anyone, it's not causing any danger or anything like that, that these councillors still think it's right to charge motorcyclists for doing what they think is right. And that's another thing, actually, that I think the Hackney Council mentions on here about locking your motorcycles. Apparently, they have locking facilities to be able to lock your motorcycle to the bay. So if you park a motorcycle in a designated area, that you'll be able to lock it. So they had in Cheltenham. More than half of them were broken. You couldn't lock the bike. More than half of them were broken. And throughout, I don't know, my 2-3 years working in Cheltenham, they never fixed them. Never fixed them. And so more often than not, beggars can't be choosers. I had to park in one of the bays that didn't have a lock thing attached to the ground. What are these people thinking? What are the councils thinking? That motorcyclists don't care about their motorcycles, one of the biggest investments they'll ever make in their life.
Yeah.
Like, so you got a parking area then that you're not allowed to park, but you're allowed to you're able to lock your bike up. I don't know, park it against a fence for God's sake or something like that. You can lock your bike up. You get a ticket there because you're not in a proper motorcycle bay. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, no, what's best then? To have my bike not stolen or to get tickets every bloody day? Honestly, it just puts us in such a horrible position.
Yeah.
Because you want to do the right thing. You want to follow the rules. You don't want to cause any problems. But they don't help themselves. They don't help you they don't help anyone, but they don't help themselves either. They just make themselves look like fools and idiots, and they're just lying about the reasons why. They're just excuses. They're just lying about the reasons why they do this crap.
Yeah. I remember
total lies.
When we went to Bristol that one time on the ZZR and we locked it up then. It's those sorts of things, right? Where it's like little padlock things in the ground and you just tie your...
No, that wasn't there. No, when we went to Bristol, they had like a bar.
Oh, was it a bar?
Yeah, so they had like one. I mean, I'm pretty sure it was motorcycle parking, wasn't it?
Well, there were other bikes in there, so I assume so.
Because I think that was one of the reasons why we went to that particular area, was it was for motorcycle parking. And having had that experience in Cheltenham, I didn't want to make that same mistake again.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think it was a bar that was cemented in the concrete, and it would just go along like that, and it would go all the way along from one side to the other, I think. But no, it wasn't like the ones I got in Cheltenham where they're just like little blocks on the ground where they're supposed to have little things that come up like that.
Yeah.
They're basically tin, for God's sake.
Almost like anchors, but not anchors.
Yeah, but they're anchors. That's what they're supposed to be. They're supposed to be anchors that you're able to kind of loop a chain round or something like that, or some kind of lock.
Fair enough.
But, oh, God. It just winds me up. Honestly, it winds me up so much because, the motorcycle community is small enough as it is. And they really think this is going to make such a big difference to... Honestly, it would be interesting to see some kind of survey or something like that about how many people actually ride a two-wheeled vehicle. And what percentage of the population that actually is. Because it wouldn't surprise me if especially around these local areas, there is less than 1%. Less than 1% of the people that live there actually ride a scooter or a motorcycle. It wouldn't surprise me. And these decisions are being made to target these people that practically don't make a difference. It doesn't make an impact on anything apart from the users of two-wheeled vehicles. Jesus Christ! Honestly, talk about dropping a nuke at a bloody ant's nest.
So in 2018, I'll see if I can find something more recent. It says that there are around 55,000 registered motorcycles in London, and that was in 2018.
How many?
55,000.
55,000. I mean, what is the population of London? Millions of people live in London. I mean, if the whole population of the UK, I think, is something like 70 million, 65 million people, something like that. So the population of London has got to be in the millions, maybe even tens of millions. And only 55,000 two-wheeled vehicles are registered in London.
In 2022, in May 22, it said, unsurprisingly, Greater London has the lowest number of riders due to its booming population, wide range of public transport and ULEZ restrictions. There are only 1,790 motorcycle riders per 100,000 people.
Wow.
Almost 10,000 less than in the northeast.
Wow. Anyway, I think the reason why we're talking about this in today's show is because we want to highlight the issue here, and we want to kind of help we want to help the riders of Hackney and in Islington and all the areas in the UK that are looking at doing this kind of stuff that is anti-motorist, anti-motorcyclist, and see if we can make a bit of a difference, make it more aware, make us more aware of the issue and things like that. Because, I mean, is there... I don't know if there's something stopping anyone outside of Hackney from signing up to a petition.
Don't think so.
maybe not. I don't know. Because if enough of us actually sign up to it and we all stick together on this, then it really does put pressure on the local councils to stop these things from happening or even reverse them. And so, I mean, that's kind of why we're discussing this really today. Is not just to wind everyone up, but it's also to help riders in places like Hackney and Islington. Doesn't change how rubbish it is.
Yeah.
And the amount of swear words I come out with right now, I think we were banned from YouTube. Honestly, it is absolutely ridiculous.
Should we have a look at the comments?
Yes, let's see what you guys think about this, because I mean, if you guys are feeling anywhere close to the way I'm feeling about this, then wow, I look forward to seeing this. All right, let's say hello to everyone. Dubstar Gaming, hello mate, how you doing? Good to see you, Lone Wolf. Good to see you, Ben Fisher, Wolf Boy. Good to see you guys. Who else? Who else in the chat? Moto Focus. Good to see you, mate. How you doing? All right. So let's see.
Dopestar.
Oh, Dopestar Game. Of course, it's Hackney. They need all the money they can get. Yeah, because you of course you are a Londoner, aren't you? As well.
The next one. Wait, it's spreading. It might reach me eventually.
Yeah.
That's a scary thought, isn't it?
It might reach everyone.
But living in London and then seeing these things pop up in the boroughs around you and you going, it's only time. It's only a matter of time until...
It's going to happen.
Would you consider leaving London?
Yeah.
If these...
Yeah.
Question for Dope. If this started became like a big thing, I imagine you work in London as well. Would you consider relocating?
The thing is, Dope, more than likely, is not the only viewer of our channel that lives in London. So... Obviously, there's going to be, I think, a significant number of our viewers that probably are affected by things like this, and probably will feel the same way.
Yeah.
But it just gives me more reasons to not move anywhere near London or any massive city at all. Because I mean, did you mention earlier this was happening in Sheffield, or they were looking at doing this in Sheffield,
Liverpool as well? Are discussing
of course, Birmingham, all the big cities in the UK are all going to be looking at things like this, just try and make an extra buck, even if it's off very small number of people. Dubstar Gaming, to be completely honest, I'm still surprised that motorcyclists don't have to pay to park for the entirety of London. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I wonder if who was this group that we mentioned here? What is it? It was on
so
MCN.
many tabs open.
Yeah, I know. Who oh bloody hell, who was it? It's a group that I mentioned earlier.
Yeah, I can't remember what they're called.
Save London. Yeah, Save London Motorcycling, SLCMC. I wonder if this little organisation has been fighting this in a lot of London boroughs since its inception. And I wonder that's why it hasn't yet hit more than maybe it could have. Yeah. Dopestar Gaming, oh, please don't talk to me about rush hour on the underground. All around nightmare. I've been it all my life. Yeah, I was only there for a couple of days, man. And it wasn't even in rush hour. And it was still absolutely horrendous. So I can only imagine what it is like actually in rush hour using the underground. Just... Honestly, it just makes you want to
And then you asked if I want to go to London for my birthday. I don't think so.
I never asked you that.
You did.
Only because you didn't want to go to Bristol.
Yeah. And
to be fair, I did say like other places as well if you wanted to.
Yeah. You were like, London. What about this place instead?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Dopestar Gaming, more motorcycles is more parking too, since you can comfortably fit like 6 bikes into a parking spot or like 10 in a pinch. Yeah. You could definitely fit a lot of motorcycles into one regular size bay. Easy.
Can you remember when we went to Worcester to do the Kawasaki Day?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's such a good barbecue that day. It was so good. We parked over one side of the car park, but the other side was literally more or less 8 bikes just in this one bay. Yep. And they were like double parked as well.
Yeah, honestly.
So yeah, you can get so many.
Well, you look at that picture.
Yeah.
The picture that we've got on the screen right now. This is, I don't know, some kind of family Vauxhall Zafira or something like that, or Citroen Picasso, or God knows whatever it is. But look how many bikes there are that fit into the same length as that one car. But, you know, it This doesn't make any sense.
But with like when we go out with my parents and my dad brings his bike, all three of us, even though you and my dad both have rather big bikes, we can all fit in one space comfortably, can't we? It's just
honestly, it's a joke. It's a joke. The
mad.
Excuses that these people come up with. Honestly, Lone Wolf UK, I truly believe that these councils themselves disagree with all these rules and regulations, but even they have orders from above. I don't know. I actually don't know the structure of councils. I mean, I thought local councils had quite a lot of authority over their specific areas. I thought a lot of it just came down really to the budgets that have been assigned to them from Westminster.
I think they have a certain amount of freedom on things that they can do, but they're probably given directives for you need to make us more money or you need to reduce this, and therefore they come up with their own incentives. Yeah,
I suppose. Or maybe they'll look at the finances of that particular council and say, you got to cut back on this, you got to cut back on that.
You've got to increase parking or whatever. Because maybe that's why it's
or
only...
housing or something. Yeah.
Maybe that's why we've only got Islington, I think, Camden and Hackney that are being...
I think you're right. I think Westminster have like initiatives, don't they, that they try and push out to local councils.
Maybe like Lone Wolf says, the initiatives are coming down.
Yeah, maybe.
As like a blanket approach, like a blanket directive. And then each council has to go in and make the changes themselves or...
But still though, local councils should have the authority to reject initiatives in their areas if it's not suitable for those areas. If it's not suitable for those areas, then obviously they should have the right to protest it, even if it is coming from Westminster.
Yeah. I think there will be certain people within, probably people that don't have any authority or any sway. There'll be people within these councils who don't like what's coming out.
The funny thing is as well, is that remember that on both the MCN article and on Vires Are Down, they both had spokespeople from Islington and from Hackney, both basically coming up with excuses as to why it's a good idea. All right, and these are spokespeople for these local areas. This isn't Westminster.
But what I'm saying,
bloody politicians.
But I'm saying is the people who typically don't agree with these things are the people who have no authority and no sway anyway.
Well, yes. Well,
so
it's like the Conservative Party in Hackney. Or was it Islington? I can't remember. But and the Green Party, they were open to discourse about this.
I have no doubt that there'll be people who do disagree, but there'll be people who have absolutely no power to do anything about it.
Yeah, you could be right. Yeah, honestly, it wouldn't surprise me.
And there'll be a spokesperson that will be appointed to have these written statements or whatever out. You know?
Especially because local elections are never accurate, because the turnout for local elections, I think, is like 30%, and usually general elections, so the whole country, I think the turnout is more around 60%. So the actual representation of local councillors isn't. They don't have. There's a specific word that I'm looking for. Oh, bugger! There's a word that I'm looking for that gives them the authority, because their mandate. They have the mandate because they have the people's vote to make these decisions. But a lot of these local councillors with 30% turnout in their areas that have elected these people, that's not a mandate. That doesn't give these people the authority to do whatever the hell they like. But they seem to do it anyway. And they seem to think, oh, because I was elected by 30% of people, 50, 60% of 30% of the population in my constituency, that all of a sudden it gives me the authority to be a bloody dictator. Honestly, that's how it feels. That's what it feels like. It's the same round here as well. It's no different round here, honestly. These bloody initiatives. Anyway, let's see here. What else you guys think? No, Ben Fisher, great live and great to be watching the live. Just thought I would pop in. Thank you, mate. Appreciate that.
So Lone Wolf UK, we need to spread the word of motorcycles. When I was younger and just getting into bikes, I remember every lad I knew my age had one. Yeah,
I know. And no one does anymore. No one now, kind of late teens, early 20s, they're not interested. Or even if they have an interest, they don't have the means to. They can't afford it, or because they've got other things that they're more interested in. I don't know. But yeah, it is true that I think a catalyst behind some of these things that local councils are doing to punish bikers is because of the decline of the biker population, because there's less people riding motorcycles these days. There's less people to kick up a fuss about these issues now. And that's wrong. That's totally wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, like, the biker population is still significant. I mean, even if you're talking in the single digits, percentage-wise, it's still a lot of people. It's still hundreds of thousands of people that ride motorcycles. So you're still affecting a not a large community, but you're still affecting quite a sizable community. And I don't know. What else here?
Moto Focus. Thoughts on the Suzuki Bandit 650?
Oh, okay. All right. I like that question. Let me remind myself, because I mean, I'm. It's quite funny actually, because I've been looking at Suzuki Bandits recently, and I to be fair, I wasn't looking at the 650 Bandit. I was looking at the 600 and the 1200. Was it? Okay, so I mean, I'm gonna guess it's a parallel twin because all 650s are parallel twin. Yeah, it is. Okay, so this is a very similar bike to. I mean, you can make comparisons between this and the MT-07. You can make comparisons between this and the Ninja 650 as well from Kawasaki, or the ER6. That's the bike I used to have. Again, very similar in terms of the power output and things like that. So, I mean, it's a Suzuki, so you're not going to have many problems with it in terms of its reliability. I wouldn't have thought. Looks like, to me, it looks quite sporty. It does, it does still look quite sporty. So yeah, you might be able to. I don't know. See, some of these pictures I'm looking at as well, I don't know if they're actually representative, because I'm not sure if they're entirely stock. But yeah, I don't know. It's. I mean, for me personally, I think I don't know if I would go for the 650 Bandit. I think I would prefer the SV650 from Suzuki, but that might be a bit more expensive. I don't know. But I mean, if we have a look at the SV650 in terms of specs and things like that, I don't know if there's much of a difference, to be honest. Oh, that's funny actually. I type in SV650 into Google, and the first thing is SV650 versus Bandit 650. Okay, so interesting. So it looks like the SV650 is producing a little bit less horsepower than the Bandit 650. Okay, well in that case then, if you're looking for a little bit of extra power, then yeah, the Bandit 650 is probably the way to go. So yeah, not a bad choice, I don't think. Oh yeah, Lone Wolf, yeah, Motor Focus, good bike, sensible commuter all around. Yeah, a lot of parallel twin 650s are pretty good all round motorcycles. They have a nice amount of torque. The top speed isn't that great, maybe top at 120 mile an hour or so, but yeah, in terms of just commuting and kind of all round enjoyment, yeah, I don't think you can go wrong. Lone Wolf UK, some younger lads here in Kendal looked at my bike and complimented me, but they say they wouldn't ride one because they had someone in their family that got killed or hurt on one.
So when I first got my bike, I spoke to a friend I no longer speak to, and I mentioned it, and she was like, "Oh my god, are you sure about this?" And I was like, "Why?" And she said, "Oh, my
uncle's cousin's sister's brother."
Basically, someone so far removed from her got killed on a bike. And she then went, "But he was riding on the back really fast, that helmet." And I was like, well, there's something then to take into consideration when you tell people that.
With this, so I think everyone knows someone who knows someone that had a motorcycle accident or that was killed on a motorcycle or something like that, right? There's no getting away from that. However, so I mean, I kind of mentioned it in tomorrow's video. A lot of motorcyclists, they do this to themselves. They are stupid on the bikes. If you are sensible on a motorcycle, you're not going to have any problems. because the problems are going to be from other people. You might make mistakes, but at least if you're sensible, you have time to correct those mistakes and things like that. They're not catastrophic. But I mean, honestly, because I was shooting some videos yesterday, and there was a guy. I didn't even see the bike that he was on because I was just in awe of the stupidity of this guy. But anyway, he was overtaking around blind bend, couldn't see anything.
Eek.
And he was weaving in between. So he'd weave in and then weave out, weave in, weave out, going around a bend. And I mean, it's a little bit frustrating as well for me because I mean, I was thinking about filtering as traffic slowed down a little bit at one point, but he just blasted right past me without even thinking that maybe I would try and filter or something like that. But I mean, in the end, the turning that I was going to find wasn't too far down the road, so I decided not to in the end. But still, I mean, just watching this guy just going around, and you think to yourself, hang on, if you got yourself on a ZH2, or you got yourself on a Fireblade, or even like a bloody R7, something like that, you're going to get yourself killed, man. And that's the problem. A lot of motorcyclists, they do this to themselves. It's kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah, and I think the thing is, when those people get hurt and they tell the story, it'll always be someone else's fault. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, because I mean, literally, like yesterday's video was actually about that. You know, is it always a motorcyclist's fault or not? And I don't know. I mean, from the viewers that we have, and from the comments that have been made on our channel and things like that around motorcycle accidents and things, that I mean, okay, we're taking the motorcyclist's word for it, but there wasn't anything they could do. They were doing their normal thing, and there more than likely wasn't anything they could do to change the outcome of that particular situation because it just happened so quickly. It happened out the blue.
It's like with my dad. He was going like 8 miles an hour, and
but
you know,
but at the same time as well, that you know, when you are, when you're being stupid on a motorcycle,
yeah,
right?
you do.
You
yeah.
actively know that you are being stupid on a motorcycle. If you are aware of that in that particular moment, that is the time when you're probably going to get yourself into a crash that's going to get you killed. In those scenarios, and if you do that every single day you get out on your motorcycle, you see it on bloody YouTube all the time. These videos of crazy motorcyclists and all the young lads that think, oh, I'm not ridden a motorcycle before, but that looks so cool. They then decide to get themselves a motorcycle, and they do the exact same things. They act in exactly the same way, and guess what happens? They get themselves killed.
Yeah.
So no, it is a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy, but at the same time, it really does come down to the individual. It comes down to you as a person. If you think that you can be sensible on a motorcycle, then you won't have any problems. Yeah. At least no issues that are going to be absolutely catastrophic. Remember that to be involved in a catastrophic accident, you got to be going pretty damn quick, and you got to be acting pretty stupid to begin with. All right. But anyway, yeah. I think that's the problem, isn't it? That again, like Chinese whispers, kind of gets passed down from person to person and gets spread around, but no one actually knows the real story of what happened. No one knows whether or not the motorcyclist involved was being sensible or not. Who knows? But it's all hearsay. But people believe hearsay, isn't it? It's like people believe bloody propaganda, isn't it? That people believe anything you tell them. And it's just awful that people can be, you know, taken advantage of like that when they've got actually, frankly, no idea about what it is that they've been told. They just go along with it. You know, be critical, I think is the way to be. If someone says something negative about motorcycles or even anything in general, then challenge it. Say, well, why? Tell us why. Have you ever experienced that? Have you ever been involved in that? If they say no, but my dad said it, or no, my brother said it, well, it's probably a load of bollocks, then, isn't it? You know what I mean? Anyway. Let's have a look. Yeah. Wolf Boy, yeah, you won't be banned on YouTube. As I swear a lot of my videos, and I still can go live and make videos. Yeah, it's more of a monetization thing. Yeah, if you swear too much in a video, they just won't monetize your video. Simple as that.
Yeah, future opportunities and stuff. We don't want to limit ourselves by.
That's the problem. Is that if I want to work with other companies, they will look down on you if you use a lot of foul language. So that's why I try to keep it as down low as possible. And if I have to use bad language, then I try to use it in a way that is humorous, not serious or anything like that. But I don't know, maybe that works, maybe it doesn't, who knows. Nick Bitten, good to see you, mate. How you doing? Do bikers get enough love these days? I don't know what kind of love you're referring to, but but I mean, in terms of a general sense, no. I don't think most cyclists do. I think everyone anyone new that you kind of meet and you say, oh yeah, I ride a motorcycle, more often than not, that person's going to be like, oh, that's so dangerous, isn't it? Like the wifey was saying.
I think the stereotype is stronger than it should be.
Yeah.
It's like, what was I reading the other day? Around like how people walk into a bar and they'll see someone who's a typical biker, let's say, with the tattoos and all that sort of stuff.
Stereotype.
Yeah.
The biker stereotype.
And all of a sudden they're scared of them, but they could be the kindest person, they could have the biggest heart, but you look at someone because they ride a bike or because they have a tattoo or have a big beard or whatever, and that's it.
Do I look intimidating?
So scary.
Shut up. No, I don't. Maybe when I'm wearing my leathers, because it makes me like double the size
it does
I am.
butch you up a bit. But no, like this is the thing, but as soon as you...
I don't have tattoos, by the way. The wifey's got those. I don't.
Loads, did you say?
No.
Oh.
No, I just said you've got tattoos. You're the one that wears the tattoos. I don't.
Where's the
You're
tattoos?
scarier than me.
Wear the tattoos, like I apply them every morning.
Actually, that's something that we could do one day is try and we'll get some sleeves and we'll try and really, really milk that biker stereotype. Yeah. We can try and do something.
I think the thing is, like
around that.
When we did that previous live show about the biker stereotypes, and we fit into quite a lot of them because one of us is tattooed, one of us has a beard, we like heavy metal.
But they're not negative stereotypes,
are they? This is the thing. But when you put that all together and you give that to someone, they use it in a bad way. Oh, that person plays video games. They're gonna I don't know.
Honestly,
go steal a car or something.
More often than not, bikers are some of the most approachable people you'll ever meet. Honestly, yeah. Any biker I've met in the flesh, they've all been very stand-up people. They've always been tried to be helpful. I remember actually, because I know I say this a lot, but I'm not a mechanic in any way, shape, or form. I know I'm trying to get over my fear of working on motors, working on machines. But when I was 17, there was a guy that my dad used to work with. They both worked in the police. And he was a motorcycle enthusiast as well. He wasn't a mechanic either, but he was a hobby mechanic. And him and his sons were just absolute whizzes when it came to mechanics. And I remember I had an issue with my bike. I can't remember what it was. I think maybe it wouldn't start or something. I can't remember. And this was carbureted as well. But they came over one day, and they bought a part. They fitted the part to the bike, and it worked. It just started working. They didn't want any money for it. They didn't want anything for it whatsoever. And honestly, some of the kindest people ever. And I think in the end, we end up inviting them out to dinner, basically, to kind of thank them for it. But it's really funny because even when I bought a new motorcycle after that, and I'd call him up and I'd be like, oh, I got this new bike. The first thing he'd say is, oh, do you want me to look at it?
Mm.
And I said, no.
The other one's over.
I just want you to admire it.
I'm just showing.
Tell me what you think.
This
basically that kind of thing. It wasn't because I was trying to take advantage or anything like that. But yeah, again, absolutely just stand-up people. So. But
it's like, do you remember I came home from the supermarket at one time and I was having a chat with a motorcyclist at the lights. We were just having a little chat.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he was just so nice, and he was not intimidating at all. Well, to me, he wasn't. To other people, he might have been.
It's like as well, when I'm out riding and I pull up to a bike, I go, all right, mate.
Yeah.
And they go, all right.
But I was in the car, and he still had a conversation with me.
Yeah, I know.
Like, I liked his bike, and I told him that I liked his bike.
Yeah, it's just, maybe thought you were coming on to him.
Maybe. He was, like, twice my age.
Is that a big deal?
No. But I wasn't.
I don't think that would stop a middle-aged lad. Would it? A female half the age.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, is that what we're talking about? Do bikers get enough love these days?
Yes.
Is
Hope
that
that
what
answered your
we're
question. No is the answer.
talking about? Lone Wolf UK, 650N is a 4-cylinder, isn't it? I mean, I was looking at the specs and I didn't think it was. It's 84 horsepower. So, but let's have a look just to confirm, just in case, because every 650, at least vast majority of 650s are parallel twins. Okay, it doesn't actually say on this spec sheet. That's a bit annoying. Oh no, yeah, 16 valve 4-cylinder. That's a very, very low amount of power for a 4-cylinder. So yeah, there you go. Inline
Every
4.
day's a school day.
I was going to say actually as well, because now I think about it, because the CBR 650R from Honda as well is a 4-cylinder, and that's really underpowered for a 4-cylinder. But yeah, it kind of makes you think, well, what's the point in having 4 cylinders if you're just going to be producing pretty much the same amount of horsepower? I don't know. I don't know. Who knows? These are things that they just work out in the engineering labs, don't they? But let's have a look here. Motor Focus, thanks for answering. Just recently got a Suzuki Bandit 650N. Just got it restricted to 47 horsepower. Stock it's 80. Just wondering how much difference I will notice once it's de-restricted. You will notice a significant difference, I think. I mean, the thing about the restriction, even though it's 47 horsepower, I do wonder how much impact it has on the torque, because the torque for me is going to be probably the thing that you'll feel the most difference in, especially just in everyday kind of riding around, street riding, things like that. So you will feel a massive difference. I mean, imagine the same thing. So you go from the Bandit 650 to a GSXR 600. The power output, I think again, it's a very similar difference. Is it 40 horsepower again? And the difference will be huge between those two bikes. And again, it's a very similar kind of power difference, going from 47 to 80, and then 80 to 120 or 115 or whatever it might be. So, yeah, I think you will feel quite a significant difference there. Motorcycle Gamer, I'm sorry, Flint is way too cute looking at. He explained motorcycle philosophy, the most confused expression. Yeah, I know, he's great.
The thing is, when you talk to him, he looks at you and he cocks his head.
Yeah. He's like, I'm trying to understand what you're saying.
He's trying to take it in. It just isn't.
He's quite intuitive, isn't he? He likes to kind of, I don't know, when he's not getting distracted by certain things, he really does take in a lot around him.
He just looks at you, doesn't he, when you're talking to him?
He does pay a lot of attention, I think. Yeah, cutie.
He's fallen asleep though on your lap, which is quite good.
Ken59, good to see you, mate. Your wife looks bored of this crack. I don't know, maybe.
I'm not bored. I'm quite uncomfortable, is all. My legs are really hurts. So.
Call on. I see. How you doing, mate? By the way, good to see you. I see a lot of crazy riding on YouTube. I find myself between them and the way how you ride the ZZR. Yeah. Honestly, I'm quite a conservative rider myself, so yeah. I'm sure there's plenty of room to kind of go a bit harder on the bikes and things, but yeah. Dopestar Gaming, I'm sure that someone has heard my story, probably thinks I'm dead or something. Yeah. Yeah, I know, right?
Yours was a particularly scary story, to be fair.
Lone Wolf UK, call on. I ride the same as Goblin, maybe a little quicker. Yeah, of course. Everyone's quicker than me, honestly. I'm not quick at all, honestly. Oh, Kem, show us the tattoos. Well, you can if you like. I mean, you have to, one of them's on your shoulder, isn't it, wifey?
Yeah, when I'm wearing a zipper, we'll do it another time.
Well, no, you can roll down your sleeves though, because the
I don't want to though.
Why not?
I don't know. It feels a bit weird.
Okay, fair enough. They're not bad.
Okay. Well, this is literally.
That's it. That's those two. Yeah.
This is these two. So it's just an anchor on that one, and then a swallow on that one, and then I've got like I guess you can call it like a half sleeve on there.
Yeah.
But I've never been asked someone's never asked me to show my tattoos before, so I was like, oh, that's a bit weird.
I don't know. It's not my kind of thing. I'm not into tattoos, but
no.
People that are into tattoos, they want to see them, don't they?
Maybe. So. It was really funny because before we got together, one of our friends was like, he'd never like you because you've got tattoos. Haha. Psych.
Yeah, well, there you go. It's what's beneath the skin, isn't it? That's what counts.
Sorry, one of those comments is actually, if I laugh too hard, it's.
Well, I'm nearly there. I'm nearly getting there. Don't start giving. OMG. I know someone that died on a bike. I don't go around telling pregnant women that I know someone whose dad left them. Shouldn't stop her from having a kid. Oh, that's so brilliant.
It's so true, though.
That's amazing. Yeah, totally the right kind of context as well.
Yeah.
You know, like why would you say that to someone and not say something else? Yeah, it's so true, man. That is so true. Quibus, good. I hope I pronounced
Quibs.
Quibs, good to see you, mate. Yeah, sorry about that. Did you do May Day?
As in the bank holiday, then yes.
Yeah. We have the bank holiday, and then we've got another one for the
coronation.
For the stupid royalty nonsense thing. Well, we're getting a bank holiday out of it, so I can't complain too much.
We didn't do anything on May Day, though.
No, we didn't, did we? No, we didn't do anything this weekend. We just kind of just chilled.
We had a barbecue in the garden, just you and me.
Well, yeah, okay, but that's not exactly like,
Not exactly what?
It's not a party, is it?
I didn't say we had a party.
Oh, right.
I said we had a barbecue, just you and me.
No, I'm going out with some mates tomorrow evening. Make the most of this bank holiday weekend, but
I'm the Desi driver.
Didn't really do anything last weekend. Call on. All those riders on YouTube obviously have a lot more money to throw around to replace those new top-of-the-line bikes like H2 Panigales, those who would peel the paint off my R1 as they pass. Yeah. Honestly.
The ones that make you clench. You're like, oh my God.
Yeah, I know, right? Chem599. Okay, interesting question. Do you guys see healthy future for motorcycles in the UK combustion engines, ICEs? No, not right now. Not in its current state. Everything is going almost full steam ahead towards electric, and it's just politics again. It's actually got nothing to do with the manufacturers. It's got nothing to do with just public or the way how people get around. And I know who's it's been causing fuss. It's German car companies, isn't it? Have been causing a lot of fuss recently about the 2035.
Oh yeah, of course.
Ban of petrol and diesel in Europe, and the UK has got 2030 for God's sake, and 2035 for bikes.
Hybrid thing.
It includes hybrids as well.
The hybrid fuel thing that we were talking about.
Well, no, we were talking about the way how Porsche was pushing e-fuels.
Oh, that was it.
Which again is supposed to be this other alternative to try and keep ICEs around a little bit longer. But again, there's a lot of problems with e-fuels in the sense that, well, one, they're not necessarily going to be totally net zero, and it's going to be more expensive. It has the potential to be more expensive than just digging oil out the ground and refining it. So it's looking bleak in Europe, to be honest.
And it gets worse every year.
You know, the thing that scares me the most, and the thing I really don't want to do, is turn our channel into an electric motorcycle channel. I don't want to do that. But I might not have a choice. If all the motorcycles that are coming out in the near future are going to be electric, then we'll
be backed into a corner.
What choice do I have? So I'm really hoping that, I don't know, someone will see a little bit of sense here and kind of like, I don't know, have a bit more of a compromise when it comes to ICEs. I know the whole emissions thing and all that crap, but I don't know. I don't see any hope on the horizon for ICEs in Europe, personally.
No.
ICEs of any kind. I tell you what, even if they allowed plug-in hybrid motorcycles to exist still, I would still be interested in that. Plug-in hybrids. But that's the problem. In Europe, they're banning everything. ICE anything. So even if you could use your motorcycle exclusively on electric whilst you've got battery power, they're still going to ban it. Which I find just utterly ridiculous and unnecessary, and uncompromising as well.
Sorry.
But no, unfortunately not. I don't think there is going to be much of a future for ICEs over the next 10 years. As sad as that sounds. Moto Focus. Have you ever been riding in the Italian Alps?
That sounds amazing.
No, I have not. I'm actually... Honestly, I am a total virgin to riding in Europe. Total virgin. I have no idea about European roads, at least from a motorcycle perspective. We've driven in Europe before. But
Driven in Spain,
that's one of the things that I actually would love to do at some point is take the Eurotunnel on a motorcycle or something like that. Maybe do a trip somewhere to a country in Europe, do a road trip and have a blast and come back, you know? That's something I would like to do. It's just time and opportunity, isn't it?
And money.
Well, yeah. I mean, money's not such a big deal. I mean, if you've got to book a hotel, I don't know. Say for example, you were going to travel to the Italian Alps. I mean, how many days do you think it would take to get from here to France, through France, maybe even through Switzerland and Germany to get to the Italian Alps? I mean, 5 days maybe? 4 or 5 days to get there, maybe less. So, you know, spending 5 nights in a hotel, that's not too bad. Paying for 5 nights for a hotel probably cost you, I don't know, a few £100 or so. I suppose with fuel and that though as well, it'd probably be, I don't know. Maybe there is a bit of an investment there, but yeah, no. Again, yeah, it's something I would love to do. There's a lot of places in Europe I'd love to visit. Quibs. Okay, in Kent, there's a massive bike rally from London to the coast. Awesome.
There might have been something else around here, but I mean, I haven't seen anything advertised. I don't think I'm connected to the right people to see if there's anything else. I mean, usually you have like the Christmas rides and stuff. And I mean, we're close to a shop, and I know they do ride out sometime, but I don't know much about it.
No, to be honest, there aren't much or organised things around here when it comes to riding anyway. There isn't much. Every now and then you see like a massive group of riders riding around, but you don't know where they come from or where they met to begin with. I'll have to have a Google. I'll have to find out about, you know, if there's anything that's going on. I don't know, because we might be visiting your mum and dad, won't we, over the weekend, so I don't know if I'll get an opportunity this weekend to have a look either for any events, so I don't know.
Yeah, we'll have to, well, yeah. I don't have anything else to say, really.
Debstar Gaming, nice tattoos. I eventually plan to get one too. Full Polynesian sleeve. Cannot wait until the faithful day comes. And don't you dare forget about my drum lesson.
I won't. Once we've soundproofed in here a little bit, because otherwise I will go deaf.
Yeah. Well, it's not just us, the neighbours, isn't it? I think we've said that before, haven't we, about how much noise comes out of this room.
Yeah.
Even with all the doors
sound, shut. But
yeah. Oh yeah, Cribs. Didn't know if elsewhere around the country does the same thing.
It's highly likely.
I don't know. I if I'm being honest, I don't know. Chem599. Thoughts on E10 fuels, good or bad? I did watch a couple of weeks ago a video on Engineering Explained that kind of goes through the difference between, in terms of efficiency, between E10, E5, and I think just 100% unleaded. And it was really interesting because, if I can remember it correctly, because the ethanol, that's what the E stands for. It stands for ethanol. So E10 is the percentage of ethanol per, 10% of fuel. And it's an additive, but I think it increases the octane level. I think it increases the amount of energy, I think, from the combustion, something like that. So you're able to get actually a little bit more MPG out of it than you would if you just ran straight petrol or straight gasoline. So, but they did mention how there's a point of diminishing returns. So if they, I can't remember if it was like E50 or something like that, that you'd actually start losing MPG. And it's a really weird thing because the general consensus is that ethanol doesn't have as much energy, doesn't have as much energy density as petrol does. So you think that even if you add a little bit of ethanol to petrol, that you wouldn't get as much MPG out of it, but you do. You get more MPG out of E10 than you would out of just 100% petrol, so, which I thought was absolutely fascinating. So I mean, the thing about engines is that they will pretty much burn anything that is combustible. A lot of the time, it just depends on how much extra heat is generated as a result of that combustion, how much extra pressure it might build up in the cylinders, things like that, how much extra strain it puts on the engine. And I think that's why a lot of the time, at least here in the UK, if you have a look at what E10 fuels are good for, they will say pretty much anything that is fuel injected will be good on E10, but you may have to have a look at your owner's manual if it's carbureted or something like that, because it could do something to the engine, could create engine knock or something like that. But honestly, I personally don't have an issue with E10, at least with the bikes that we have, because they're all modern bikes. Speaking of which, we may be looking to buy another motorcycle, wouldn't we?
Yes.
Which is going to be an older one. So I may review that statement a little bit into the future, because I don't know, I've got a lot of ideas planned for this bike, and it's going to be a budget motorcycle. It's going to be something that is really on the cheap, so we'll see how that goes.
A disclaimer: anything that has been said during this episode can and will be reviewed in the future. maybe, but I mean, for the, because my Honda Civic, it's 2007 Honda Civic, and it runs fine on E10. So even though the cap itself has got E5 on it, E5. So it should be fine. Go on, bud. You wanna go out? Go on, go get him. So he walks out really slowly. Yeah, no, E5 I think is all right for the most part. But if you're worried about it, then definitely check your owner's manual. I mean, on the government website in the UK, you've got like this little tool where you can type in whether or not your car or your motorcycle is okay on E10, but it just kind of gives you a general statement. So there's loads of forums as well where someone's probably put that fuel in.
Without a doubt, there's going to be a lot. Forums, honestly, are some of the best places to get this information if you're worried about it. Yeah, definitely, absolutely. Call on. I don't like the look of future motorcycles in the EU and UK. We might be able to hold on a while longer here in the US, but I just hope I die sooner than motorcycling does. Honestly, I think that's kind of like the plan, that we're going to keep our ICEs for as long as we can. I mean, ICEs that we buy in the next 5 years or so will probably be the last ones ever made and ever sold in Europe. Not necessarily because of the deadline, 2035 for motorcycles, but because if all manufacturers know that it's going that way anyway, they might start rolling out. Haven't some manufacturers, is it BMW or something? I can't remember, but I thought that some have made statements saying that by 2028 or 2029 we're gonna have fully electric lineup.
I know that Kawasaki said they're gonna have 10 out by 2020 something or something. I don't remember.
So it's gonna happen anyway. In the next 5-10 years,
in progress, isn't it?
The ICE market will be flooded with the motorcycle market will be flooded with electrics rather than ICE. So I think that's probably what a lot of us are going to have to do. We're going to have to keep hold of our bikes, and if we want to keep running ICE, that's the only way we can do it, is by keeping them. And the thing that I think what will happen is that the used market will go up in value quite a lot. I know that didn't they say something about as well? I can't remember when the ban's going to happen on the used market, but I think the ban might happen as well on the used market by a certain time. I don't know if they've said that. I can't remember. But they can't. I don't know if they can do that, to be honest with you. But it's something that they would do, isn't it? You know what I mean? But yeah, I think the used market is going to boom over the next 10 years. Motorcycles are going to go up in value. ICE motorcycles are going to go up in value because most of us, including myself, we don't necessarily want to go electric.
Yeah.
What I would have in a perfect world, I would have ICEs, but I wouldn't mind having one electric in my garage. If I could afford it, I'd have electric in my garage, but it wouldn't be my daily driver, I don't think. at least, I don't know. But I mean, I wouldn't be doing my job properly as an enthusiast if I didn't at least try an electric and what have you. So we'll see how that goes in future as well, if as and when we get round to it. But yeah, it is looking a bit bleak.
It is.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Docile Gaming, to be completely fair, I'd rather ride an electric than nothing two-wheeled at all. Yeah. And that's what a lot of us are going to end up doing, isn't it? There are some older generation riders that as soon as they can't buy an ICE anymore, they'll just stop riding. I think we've had a few people that mentioned that before in a few videos in the past in the comments, that they've said that once ICEs are out the window and they can't buy one anymore, that they'll just retire from riding.
I think my dad said that.
I think that's going to be an absolute shame. Well, I mean, your dad is still going to be young enough to be riding at that point, so it's going to be a personal choice.
Yeah.
You know,
but I mean, he's been riding for like 40 odd years, and it's just not going to be the same anymore.
I don't think it will. I'm trying to be open-minded about it, but no, I personally, just from impressions and things like that, it's not going to be the same. But the unfortunate thing is that you've got riders like myself, like Dope Style Gaming. You know, we're like the younger generation of riders, and we're going to be forced to go down this route. We don't necessarily want to go down. I don't want to give up riding, but I mean, we'll see. We'll see how it goes over the next 10 years, and we'll go from there. Ben Fisher, can you please give a shout out to my friend Teresa Green? Hi, Teresa Green.
Hi.
How you doing? I hope that's not like a euphemism for something. Teresa Green. Yeah. Anyway, hi, Teresa.
Hello.
Hope you're doing all right. So, okay. Lone Wolf UK, the only electric vehicle I would like to own if I couldn't have a 4-cylinder motorcycle is the Jetson 1.
Oh, it's so cool. I had to Google it. It's like a little helicopter. Look at it.
I think I've heard of it.
Look how cool that is. It's like a little drone, like a person drone.
That's not a motorcycle, though, is it?
He said no, but read what he's actually said.
Oh, electric vehicle.
If I couldn't have a 4-cylinder motorcycle.
Yeah. It's like going back to that whole kind of like, oh, we're all going to be driving around flying cars and things like that, isn't it?
It's so cool though. It's like
yeah.
It's so cool.
Does it just hover, or can it actually get off the ground?
It's moving.
Yeah, no, but does it stick to the ground or close to the ground, or can it actually like take off?
I don't know. Well, you can only go for 20 minutes, so probably not. No pilot license required. It's a Formula 1 racing car for the sky. Yeah. It has 8 powerful motors. Goodness. Alright, let's order one. Oh, $8,000 is the down payment, and the rest, the total cost is a mere $98,000.
That's not too bad for a frying pan.
For a frying pan,
yeah. For a washing machine.
Oh dear, how funny.
I'd have a go.
I think they look amazing.
I'd have a go. Yeah, definitely. I think you'd be rude not to.
Yeah.
Lemon UK, my bike runs badly on normal unleaded, lumpy gear changes and sluggish acceleration, but on Shell Optimax Super unleaded, it feels so much better. That's interesting, isn't it?
When you say normal unleaded, is that the stuff you get from the supermarket?
I imagine just he's
out of
referring
curiosity.
to E10, yeah, just regular E10.
Because
super fuels, I think they're still E5 super fuels. I don't think they're on E10. Yeah, so
they must be. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's probably why it runs better. But yeah, honestly, cars and bikes past the year 2000, a lot of them you might find that will struggle on regular unleaded, and you need to fork out for the super fuels now. That's the only thing that will run in them. So it's a shame, but if that's what you got to do, that's what you do, isn't it? Yeah. Kem599, any touring plans in the future? Dream ride?
Can't say your husband or wife.
Well, I mean, the wifey and I, we we really want to book our honeymoon to Japan. I mean, we got married a couple of years ago, and because of COVID, we weren't able to book our honeymoon. So, one thing that I have mentioned to the wifey is when we do go to Japan is about hiring a motorcycle together.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of driving around a car, we'll ride around a motorcycle. Because the thing is, like the home of modern motorcycling is Japan. So like the best place to ride a motorcycle's got to be in Japan, right?
Yeah,
has to be. So that for me would be one of my dream rides for sure. Ride around Japan. I don't know where. I don't know Japan.
You don't know what bike. Do you have a dream bike you want to ride? Just one, because we'll be here all day otherwise.
Well, okay. No, this is hard because a dream bike is different to the bike I would use for touring with.
Well, I didn't know if dream ride meant the particular bike or route.
If I had a choice and I could get any bike I wanted, I'd have a Ninja H2.
Yeah.
Ninja H2, 100%. Yeah, without a doubt. That's like the pinnacle of ICE motorcycles at the moment. Would you believe though that it's been 8 years since that bike was released?
Is it really already?
8 years at the Ninja H2. Yeah.
Doesn't feel like it, does it?
It's absolutely mad. And there's no sign of there being any more manufactured. Well, another generation being manufactured or anything like that. But they've got no need to because they are like the top of the food chain, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I'd say. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna excuse me. I apologize in advance if I get your name wrong. But Jainath,
that's what
Jainath?
yeah.
Says, hi buddy, how you doing? I'm your subscriber from Assam State, India. Awesome. Yeah, thank you, mate. Thank you for joining us. Hope you're doing well. Hope it's nice over there in India. Yeah, because again, big motorcycle culture in India. Massive motorcycle culture in India. And as well, it's its own market as well. Like the bikes that you find in India, you can't find anywhere else in the world a lot of the time.
No,
they manufacture motorcycles specifically for the Indian subcontinent, which I think is fascinating. Biker Ben, hi, how you doing, mate? Good to see you. At Motorfocus, I would love to eat sushi in Japan.
Me too.
Yeah,
I can't
too.
wait.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
I'm so excited. That's part of it is the food. Part of it is all like the anime stuff, and part of it's just because it's Japan.
Well, a lot of you probably already know this, but I'm a martial arts enthusiast as well, and the style that we practice is a traditional Japanese style wado-ryu. So I would love to experience a traditional dojo in Japan as well, and maybe even
you're allowed. I've
maybe even experience just training in Japan. I think that would be absolutely sick.
Because there's so much you can do. Like you can go and actually wear authentic samurai costumes and have your photograph. We've watched Our Man in Japan. Really recommend it. It's so good.
It's a good show.
On Prime. Not a sponsor. But
not a sponsor.
But part of it is the food is going to be insane.
Yeah, we're looking to go next year. So.
They are massive into their coffee.
Are they?
Apparently, they're huge into their coffee. So I'm excited to try their coffee.
Looking forward to that. It's going to be a lot of fun.
That's something we're going to start looking to book soon, isn't it?
Yeah, we don't know what time of year next year, but we're looking. I
have a preference, but
okay, all right. We'll discuss that.
Yeah. At
some point, I suppose. Yeah. But anyway, everyone, I'm glad that we were able to end this show on a happy note because all this stuff's going on at the moment. It's all negative and it's bad and bad. Motorcycles are bad. And, our job is to make motorcycles good and happy and amazing because that's what they are. So, that's why I get so angry about this kind of stuff because it's so not fair.
And it makes our job harder because all this negativity in the media is coming out. So
absolutely does. But anyway, thank you everyone for joining us all the way to the end of today's show. You guys are absolutely awesome. Thank you everyone in the chat. You guys make the show what it is. So, massive, massive thank you to all of you. And, we'll be back same time next week as well. I don't think we've got anything interfering next week, have we, as far as I'm aware?
No.
No, so we shouldn't should be absolutely fine for next week. So look forward to seeing you guys then. But I mean, for the time being, hope you'll have a fantastic bank holiday weekend. Those of you living in the UK. I mean, go ahead and watch the coronation if you want to. I don't know if it's something I'm going to catch personally, but
I'll be watching
the wife will be watching it. She's a bit of a royalist, aren't you?
It's the thing is, it's not necessarily that, but it's such a historic thing. It's the first coronation in such a long time that I want to experience it.
People have lived and died during the previous reign, so it is a big event.
So for things that I've watched, the funerals, I've watched all the weddings I can get my hands on, because it is such a historic thing. And in my lifetime, I'm hoping I'll be fortunate enough to see another one, but
we'll see. We will see.
I'd like to outlive Charles, but anyway.
Hopefully you have all a fantastic
enjoy.
weekend. I mean, like we kind of mentioned earlier, it's a fantastic opportunity this year, just because we get 2 bank holiday weekends in a row.
Yeah,
so it's absolutely awesome. But anyway, tomorrow's video, same time as usual. So I'll see you then. The dog is really desperate to.
He wants to cuddle. He wants to say goodbye to everyone.
He does, doesn't he? There you go. Bye. That way. There you go.
I'm so confused.
But so I'll see you tomorrow in tomorrow's video. Hopefully I'll catch you then. But if not, have a fantastic weekend, and we will catch you all next week. Take care, everyone.
Ride safe.